Everybody doing?
We're good, Coach. How are you?
Good.
Well, doing good, Coach. Thanks.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Same to you, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah, signing day. So excited, for this group. And as you know, there's a lot of moving targets still with the way things have changed in the recruiting world. But, before I get into any of the details of the class, just like to say thank you to everybody that was a part of it. Our staff, our coaches, our graduate assistants, our analysts, quality control, Coach Ruff, you name it. There's so many people, our recruiting staff, our ops staff, our strength staff, what Thunder and his crew does, Natalie and our nutrition staff, Justin and sports med and his staff of trainers, the academics, and Ashley and Alicia and Jimmy, you name it, the facilities, our administration. It takes everybody, to get this thing going. Coach Trevathan and what he does, and then on the external part, our fans and our alumni that support our program, that help with our recruiting efforts, the game day environment, the attendance, the passion, like all of it, it all comes together in this thing. And it's a long process. Some of these guys you recruit longer than others, and some of them have brothers in the program. Some of them were just, recently found, but it's a long, tedious, detailed experience, where you're showing a young man and his family and his coaches and everyone involved everything you can about your program and why it's the right fit. And I think fit is so important. And our players, the way that they are in recruiting and how they host and talk about the program and help out the families that are there. So, it all comes together and creates a class, the Pac-23 class. And it's an incredibly talented group of young men. And we're excited to have the honor to help them and coach them and develop them into the best versions of themselves. And, there's 10 total from the state of North Carolina, 7 scholarship players and 3 preferred walk-ons, 3 from Florida, 2 from Georgia, 1 from South Carolina, 2 from Alabama, and 1 from Mississippi and 1 from Maryland. And just about every position group was touched in this. When you look at the guys in general, there's 6 of them are in all-star games. 12 of them were team captains, all state selection, conference player of the year, and Isaiah Shirley. 14 of the 15 young men's high schools were in the playoffs. So they're coming from winning programs, and 9 of these guys are multi-sport athletes. So it's a really good group. We met a lot of our needs. There's guys that I can't talk about yet that are a part of this class as well, just because of the signing rules and how all that goes into guys that are coming as transfers. So I won't be able to comment on them. You guys see who's, coming supposedly and all that. So you can, make your stories out of that until I'm allowed to comment. But excited to get these guys here. A lot of them are mid-year. We'll probably have 16 to 18 mid-year guys as well. So you'll get to see these guys pretty soon. Open it up for any questions.
All right. Gibby, what you got?
Yeah, Coach, is recruiting the hardest it's ever been right now? Because you not only have to recruit high school kids, but at times I imagine you have to re-recruit your own players at times.
Yeah, the last 3 years, it's really changed. It has. And the transfer piece has changed things with your own roster for sure. And then the windows to transfer have changed. And we've always been able to transfer, as you know. It used to be you'd sit a year and guys could leave whenever. And then the portal opened with immediate eligibility, and that was a 12-year window. And then this year we have these 2 6-week windows. So it's a moving thing. It's an evolving thing. We're learning how to live within this world as we go. I'm sure we're failing some, succeeding some, and we'll get better as we go through it. I think for the players too. I think the sad piece in all this right now that we'll see how it plays out is just the number of young men that have left teams that are going to have nowhere to go. And there's a lot of guys. There's more guys out there than there are places for them to land. And I don't know how that works and how many guys end up not graduating because of that. Because as you know, when you transfer, you lose credits. And it's sad, and I hope that it works out. I really do. The biggest thing that we've seen too in this change is the third parties that are tampering with kids and trying to get kids to leave programs that are not supposed to be doing that. And a lot of them don't work for these universities. They're people that are trying to make money off of kids and that are not professionals, that are not coaches. They're trying to get kids to leave programs and sign with them as a supposed NIL agent and take a cut. And sad, see, I hope the NCAA can get their arms around this thing from a recruiting standpoint. It's not healthy at all. So I don't mean to be on my soapbox about that, but you asked the question, and that's kind of what it is. It used to be in recruiting, you built relationships, you got to know families and kids, and you really poured your heart out to them about the school. You showed them everybody in the program. You got them with professors. They figured out whether it was the right major. They looked at the depth charts. They would come to a practice, come to games, and then they'd figure out it was a great place for them, and it's just not the same in all cases anymore. So we're learning how to evolve with the times, and that's the key, it's just continuing to evolve and not being stuck in our ways, even though we liked the old way better. It doesn't matter. What matters is we still do the best we can to get the right guys here that fit the culture of our university and our program, that are going to be great additions. And we're super excited, about this group of guys. And there's a bunch of guys are going to help us, and some of them, because of how many players we're losing, will have a chance to play early. They will, and you can never really predict that. But as you go through the list, and you guys can watch their highlights online, there's a lot of talented young men in this class, a lot of leaders in this class, a lot of winners in this class. So, and there's a lot of length on the line of scrimmage. We got some. It's hard to get 6'6" guys. We were able to get several 6'6" guys for the O-line in this class. That's going to help us immensely down the road.
Corey.
Dave, at the end of this class, you added multiple JUCO players. I mean, how big was that in the sense of adding guys that are veterans that you can sign right now and know that you have them in the near future?
We kind of felt like with the transfer portal and all the attention to 4-year transfers, that the junior college were being neglected a little bit in recruiting. I feel like we were able to find some really good players there that normally would have had more traffic, in our opinion. And so that was a good job by our coaches, doing their homework and finding guys that were fits and the need areas that we had where we weren't having, the same luck maybe in the high school or the portal world. We found a couple guys that really fit us, from the junior college areas. So I'm glad we were able to do that. Look forward to, Red Hibbler and Terrente Hinton, assuming who you're talking about. But, yeah, look forward to getting those guys here.
Chris Lee.
Hey, Coach. Hope you're doing well today. You just spoke about the transfer situations, and I wanted to ask more so from the standpoint of we just had senior day for a really good class, and how much of you kind of thinks like with this class, there's a chance now that we may not have these types of classes that stick around and have this impact 4 or 5 years from now. The way you just had it, is that something that's kind of on your mind as you're recruiting these kids and having these signing days?
I don't know if I'll ever have a class that big because of COVID. That's why the class was so big, Chris. The super senior effect, allowing so many kids to come back that really never would have been able to do that without the extra year from the COVID legislation, So I think that class size has more to do with that than it does to anything. But I think you're right. I think recruiting classes in general, like when you bring in whatever it is, 15 guys or 25 guys, how many are you going to really have, 4 to 5 years later, with all of the different ways guys can leave your program now? The attrition outflow from college football programs has increased quite a bit, and so the number of ways that guys will leave, it used to be a lot different. And so I guess we'll just have to see what the time tells on that, how it plays out.
Pat.
Hey, Dave, I was at Mac Brown's press conference earlier, and he said that he lost 5 recruits due to schools or those third parties you're talking about inducing players with the NIL opportunities against the rules or the way it was supposed to be. How much do you think something like that affected this recruiting class for you?
Yeah, I don't want to speculate. I know it was at play with several guys down the stretch. It's pretty crazy what's going on right now. And there's no way to know what's real and what isn't. You know, a lot of this stuff is what you hear or what someone tells you, right? You don't always have proof. So, you know, some of it could be exaggerated, but it's not exaggerated that there's people out there that are calling young people and their parents and promising them things at other schools if they'll leave or decommit. You know, that's happening. And it's happening too much and at an alarming rate. And, you know, so yeah, I'm sure Mac and other coaches, if you polled out there, you'd probably find every single one. I saw the head coach at UTSA put out a tweet, you know, about basically when is the NCAA going to stop this? You know, I mean, basically pleading for the NCAA to help because how many kids on his own team were getting poached illegally, you know? And so that's going on at every level. And it's unfortunate, you know, because that's not what college sports is supposed to be about.
James?
Yeah, Dave, you guys have kind of built a really good foundation at linebacker, and you added 3 in this class. Can you just give some thoughts on the 3 guys you brought in at that position?
Sure, you bet. You know, it felt like obviously, you know, losing Isaiah and still have, you know, Drake and Peyton making decisions. And either way, if they come back, they're in their last years. But adding some guys that could run with length, same thing we did last year, you know, with a couple guys, just in this defense, speed is the key. And if you look at those 2 outside linebackers in this class, they're very fast. Both of them have played DB even, you know, so you can see them playing in space that way. The middle linebacker, we recruited hard, Rohan Davey, and he committed early to Cincinnati when we were supposed to have him down for a visit back in the spring, and this didn't happen. He committed to them and shut it down. And then when their staff changed, you know, he opened things back up. So we were excited to get back in on Rohan. We feel like he's a really good inside linebacker and another guy that's played safety, you know, so this defense, 3 linebacker defense, you want to try to get 3 in every class if you can. And we're a little bit under scholarshiped there. You know, my philosophy has always been to have a 3 deep plus 1, you know, in the room in case one guy's hurt, you can keep your 3 deep going. And so that's kind of, you know, from a numbers standpoint, we're a little bit under at linebacker. So this was a good time to get those 3 guys. And, you know, if we do lose all 3 of the ones we have this year, it's going to be critical, you know, from a developmental standpoint, because we do have some good players next in line that have been waiting their turn, you know, but to have that youth behind them to develop them with Coach Thunder and get them ready.
Appreciate it.
JC?
To complement the 3 defensive guys, you're also able to get a great chess piece in Javante Vereen and the playmaker and Kevin Concepcion. And what did you like about Kendrick Raphael in the backfield?
Who do you want me to start with?
Any of the 3? Vereen, Concepcion, Raphael?
Okay. Yeah, Javante he's a hybrid guy. You know, he's a guy that can play the tight end position, but he can also play as a receiver. And so he's a mismatch guy, you know, that we can use similar to how we've used guys here in the past, Jalen Samuels, Trent Penix, but he's got length where he can be out there in the receiver position. He's got great ball skills. Love his leadership too, the way that he's wired and built upstairs, you know, in the mind. He's a really competitive guy. KC, we've had him in camp. He's got great ball skills, really good route runner, competitive guy, you know, played a really good high school program at Chambers, and has just been up here a ton. You know, he's been a great guy to recruit, and he's a very, very natural guy in the slot. Third one was
Raphael.
Yeah, Kendrick, another guy we recruited hard early, came on a official back in the spring when we had official visits. We at the time thought we were going to get him then, and he committed to Iowa. Obviously a great place for running backs, and at some point in the season felt like that was the wrong fit. So we were excited when he opened things back up. You know, he always liked us. We always liked him. He's a guy that comes from a very good program at Naples High. You can see his film. He's a good runner for sure. Can make people miss, run people over. He's got great acceleration and vision and balance. But the other thing you see with him is he's a blocker. Like, he's a very, very physical blocker on film. And so, you know, he's going to be a guy that can take on the blitzers that you get in this league. And sometimes running backs aren't coached that way in high school. And he comes from an offense, a veer option offense, where he's putting his face on people a lot. So we love his toughness. Yeah, he's a very versatile guy.
Ryan?
Yeah, Coach. The decision to take Lex at quarterback, obviously a guy, you know, you probably know his family very, very well. And then I wonder, looking at the depth chart, do you feel like you do need to at some point add a veteran quarterback to that room?
Yeah, so, you know, we've known Lex forever. I mean, and he's a gym rat. He's just a all-around athlete. In every sport he's in, he's competitive. He's a leader. People follow him. Guy that can really throw the football and has great accuracy, you know. And so we're excited about Lex, and he did a tremendous job, you know, in this class, working with guys and getting guys to want to play with him. As far as recruiting another quarterback, it just depends. You know, I think would love to have 4 on our roster on scholarship. You know, that's kind of where you want to be. Sometimes even 5 because of injuries, you know. If you got 3 you're traveling, 1 you're redshirting, you know, that's kind of where you want to be, I think, programmatically. But you don't take one to take one either. You know, I think it's got to be the right one. And if we end up there, we end up there. But I think we're always trying to get competitive in every room. I think that's the one thing I would tell you. It doesn't matter if it's the quarterback, the running back, the linebacker, the D-line. Competition brings out the best in everybody. And if we didn't learn anything this year, playing 4 quarterbacks to win 8 games, we better have some guys in there that are ready to play.
Given the transfer portal, especially at quarterback, you know, if you bring in a veteran quarterback, does that all of a sudden upset the whole room? Or do you say, hey, we're just going to go compete and see who wins the job?
No, we'll be upfront and honest. These guys, Coach and I has been talking with them. Coach Roper's been talking with them. They'll know what we're doing. And if there ends up being somebody new, they'll be a part of that conversation. That position has to compete like every position, you know. And we don't have a returning starter here right now that's an all-conference player. So at any position, if we were in that, we would have an open competition with who's back. And that's, we're excited, you know, for MJ, we're excited for Ben, we're excited for Lex. If we add a piece, we'll be excited for that person coming in as well. And I know Coach and I feels the same way.
Gibby?
Yeah, Dave, you mentioned Drake and Peyton. Obviously, they have decisions coming up. As a coach, obviously, you want them to come back, but as a coach, you want what's best for them as well. In the past, what's been your philosophy on how you handle that situation?
Yeah. Well, they're all different conversations. Some guys are further along than others in their career, and it always starts with how can they improve. You know, if you feel like you're working with someone that can gain a lot by returning, sometimes it's not the physical, sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's graduation. If you come back, you're going to graduate, you know. There's a lot of things to talk about. And sometimes there's injuries involved you want to discuss and how that plays into the whole conversation. Their draft grade is important, you know, what the NFL is saying, what the scouts and the GMs are saying. And so you put everything on the table with them. And at the end of the day, I tell these guys the same thing. I'm not in there to try to sway them to come back. I'm not. I'm in there to give them all the information I can get and help them make an educated decision with whoever they want to be involved in it with me. And whatever they decide, I'm going to support them, even if I think it's what I wouldn't tell them to do. You know, I care a lot about these young men. They play really hard for me, and I want them to be happy at the end of their journey. And I just want them to be educated before they make that choice.
James?
Yeah, Dave, I know you had Josh Harris exit out the program since the last time we spoke. Can you just discuss a little bit the depth you have now at that position, you know, nose tackle kind of going forward?
Yeah. Well, obviously for the bowl game we're talking about, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Corey's playing, so Corey's our nose guard and we can rotate guys in there. Obviously CJ Clark, we've played at nose throughout the season when we needed to. And he's got reps in there for us. Nick Campbell, we gave a ton of reps during the bowl prep and Nick's done a great job. He's gotten a ton better. So, those are the three guys that you'll see throughout the game. Now, I don't know what the rotation will be yet. We're still not there, but that's kind of where we're at presently. For the future, we've got DJ Jackson that we're redshirting right now and we're excited about his future. And so we're continuing to recruit the position as well.
Ethan.
Hey, Coach. Brandon Cisse is someone that, he was a camp offer for you guys, and he's now a top 300 guy, 4-star recruit. I was just hoping to get your thoughts on what he brings to NC State school back then.
Super positive guy, man. Just love his personality, really athletic, can cover, has really good ball skills, excellent returner, punt returner and kickoff returner. It's hard to find corners that run like he does with the ball skills that he has, And so we're really happy that he's coming in here. He's got good length and energetic, very positive. He was a good leader in this class. He was one of the guys, once he committed, that was a big part of, some of these guys sticking together and coming here, and look forward to getting him here. He's got a great personality. You guys will enjoy getting to know him.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
All right, there's 3 hands up, so we're going to take 3 questions. Corey.
Dave, wanted to ask you, sticking with the secondary there, about Damon Fagan and Zach Myers, what they add to that safety unit for you guys.
2 guys, again, that have great ball skills, starting with Damon, from a great program, American Heritage, down in Plantation, Florida, state runner-up this year, state champions before, and a guy's played a lot of football against a lot of really good players. Very rangy, long, sees the field well, good communication skills, watching him in practice. He's a leader. He gets guys lined up. He directs traffic. He can cover, and he's got a lot of range. Your other question was about?
Zach Myers.
Zach. Yeah. So Zach, another guy that plays both ways. You love DBs that play receiver, again, because of the ball skill aspect. That's one of the things here. Just trying to get more interceptions, which we did a great job of this year. Part of it's teaching guys how to break on the ball and technique, but part of it too is just the ball skills. You'd be surprised, how many guys don't play both ways anymore, and how catching the football doesn't come natural to everybody. So, as a guy that can catch, he had offers to play both offense and defense. Great personality, really good friends, got to know him well through this process because, he's close with Aiden White on our roster. And so that relationship helped. But Christ School's done a good job developing players. They've really done a good job lately. So looking forward to getting Zach here. He's a guy that we feel like can play the nickel or the strong or the free. He's got a lot of different skill sets, as a DB.
JC.
You alluded to about the height or the length of your offensive line recruits. I think 3 of them, maybe even 4, but definitely 3 have played basketball in the past. What did you kind of look at when you got bigger guys like that who can also move?
Well, I think just the wingspan, athleticism, the length, all those things matter at the tackle guard positions. When you're talking about pass protection, staying between the quarterback and the line of scrimmage, and really fortunate. It's the tallest group of linemen we've ever gotten in one class, and they're tough guys. They're awesome fits for us. Darian Rivers from West Charlotte. Sam Griner's high school down there, 6'6", maybe 290 now. But a basketball player too, was on the state championship basketball team a year ago, and really enjoy him and his family, and what he brings athletically. He's going to be a guy who has to develop and get in the weight room, but he's got that work ethic to do so, and we're excited about that. Kamen Smith, another basketball player. Tough guy. Dad's a coach. Mom was a basketball player, super athletic, can play both tackles, can play guard, came and does a lot of things that we like. He's close friends with Isaiah Shirley. They had a great relationship throughout this thing that, was kind of cool to be a part of. Obi, Alpharetta, Georgia, transferred down there, really a hard worker, super athletic, long, 6'6", 295 probably now. Very intelligent young man as well. And he's going to come in here, I think, with 11 college classes that he's already completed. Super impressive guy. And then the latest, Rico Jackson, 6'6", 300-ish, maybe 285-ish in there, from Dillard High School. Great program in Fort Lauderdale. I've had a couple guys from there when I was at other schools. And Rico was here in the summer, came through. At that time, we were full and loved him. And he really liked it here. And he committed to Illinois. As the season went on, he opened it up for whatever reason. He felt like, wanted to see what else was out there, and told him if we had a spot open up, we'd be calling him, and it happened. And it's just great that he was available when we had it, because I think he's a great fit for us. So those 4 guys, they're going to get along well. They're a good group. The chemistry, that group will be awesome. And I know Coach 2J is really excited about them.
And last question from David Thompson.
Hey, Dave.
How are you, bud?
Hey, I'm good. It's good to see you. You mentioned the difficulty of player retention, in this recruiting climate. I'm curious, was there kind of a final pitch to keep Devin Leary at the school? And, what were the last kind of things that you guys talked about, and were you surprised to see him leave?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that were talked about, and it's really not anything I want to put out there, David. I mean, I'm blessed to be a part of the journey with them, man. I really enjoyed my time with Devin. I think he was a great player on our team. He was a guy that I have so much respect for as a player. I wish him nothing but the best. And same thing with his family. I really enjoyed his family the entire time here, and sometimes guys make decisions, whether you like them or not, it doesn't matter. Wish him nothing but success.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Coach.
Happy holidays. Y'all
Thanks,
take care,
Coach.
everybody.
Thanks.